All right, this video is for the extended autonomic nervous system. So we all know that the autonomic nervous system is generally taught and believed to be the sympathetic, the fight or flight or freeze system, which we all know is the adrenaline maker, which gets that jittery, sweaty, go, can't think, heart rate up, senses alerted, vision dilates, can't focus, vision, it's hard to focus, your senses are all primed and to go. Digestion, you can't rest and digest. And then your parasympathetic is your rest or digest or vacation mode, the much more calming self. And a lot of the work is to get your body from the sympathetic adrenaline to the parasympathetic. But the nervous system or the autonomic nervous system is truly much more of a bigger playing field. It's actually called the extended, EXTENDED autonomic nervous system. And this is important to call it the extended autonomic nervous system because it's much more a bigger area. And to understand this, this is why you will have concepts and contexts and to understand why your body may evolve subgroups of such as neuropathic or hyperadrenal, hypovolemic you might not fit into, and also where you might start in a timeline where you might think, I start much more as a low blood pressure or that neuropathic group, and over time I morph and change into a more hyperadrenaline, higher heart rate, higher blood pressure, can't think, can't digest, high heart rate, brain jittery person because of the extended autonomic nervous system. So the extended autonomic nervous system means that the autonomic nervous system pulls in and integrates a bigger playing field. So we have the sympathetic, as we mentioned, the parasympathetic, but also is involved is the gut, which is this huge neuromuscular immune endocrine system, which means this large 30 some feet nerve muscle bundle from your mouth all the way down to your rectum, anus of nerve muscle, immune, the bulk of your immune system's in your gut. It has much neurotransmitters such as serotonin that controls mood and pain modulation is there. The bulk of your immune system's in your gut. So with that part of the extended autonomic nervous system, as your autonomic system goes into dysfunction and dysregulation, as your gut becomes activated, you will see often food allergies, food triggers, food intolerances, gut bloating, gut digestion's off. You might start initially with orthostatic issues, and then suddenly, why am I having problems with digestion? Next area of the extended autonomic nervous system is the endocrine issues are involved because with the autonomic nervous system integrates the endocrine system. The gut is part of it, with the pancreas being intertwined to this. The adrenaline system is activated to this. So insulin metabolism, adrenaline system interfaces with insulin that will cause in stress states glucose metabolism. You will see initially utilization of insulin, and you will see changes of either rapid use of insulin and reactive hypoglycemia, drop blood glucose. The same as in digestion, the pancreas is involved in digestion. We will see often patients with sluggish guts and will have more erratic glucose metabolism absorption and then suddenly have dropping glucose. Other aspects of the adrenaline, of course, is the catecholamines in the adrenals, where the concepts historically of adrenal fatigue have come into, and we can sometimes see falsely low, falsely high ACTH and cortisol levels in our autonomic nervous system patients. Again, this ties into false alarms of adrenal disorders, but representations of what we call smoke to a fire of the autonomic adrenal adrenaline sympathetic system in overdrive. Again, that there's no real adrenal dysfunction or adrenergic other disorders, but really is the sympathetic adrenaline system is in dysfunction, dysregulation, And these markers are just representing another manifestation of blood work or urine testing. So you have the extended autonomic nervous system, sympathetic, parasympathetic, gut, endocrine, skin. Much of your nervous system goes to your skin. If someone actually just burned me right now, receptors to my skin will go to the spine up to my brain to make me alert. Your immune system's in your skin. You have also immune markers in your skin of histamine, which also will tie into redness, blotchiness that you'll see often in autonomic system. And also your nerve tracts to your skin will cause vasodilation. So your skin's involved. Your immune system is stimulated by your autonomic nervous system and will immune system will be stimulated by your autonomic nervous system. So the adrenaline response, sympathetic response, will stimulate your immune system and as a stress response. So often that might be the foundation, a core of what we may see of mast cell activation as a triggering response. So often getting people treated with an adrenaline response will calm down many of these new allergies, food triggers, skin sensitivities, blotchiness of the skin that we see. And also it's interesting, you'll see many people who notice timeline where they start, where they've had this trauma or event that's happened to their body physically, life event, illness, of this dual or simultaneously adrenaline, sympathetic activation, and this sort of hyperimmune, hyperallergy, simultaneous things going on. And they'll think that two things are occurring when it's really just one thing that's happening as this truly extended autonomic nervous system cascade happening at once, two things at once. The other thing that's also occurring is the brain, because if you're not well, your brain needs to know. The sympathetic system activates the brain to tell you you're not right, ties into mechanisms of brain fog. Your hypothalamus, many of the adrenaline centers of the baroreceptor go to the brain. Your blood pressure and heart rate centers in the brain. That's why people who've had head injury can develop autonomic dysfunction. Some of the COVID survivors who have long haul, some of the mechanisms can be from brain invasion. We're looking into mechanisms of that. So the hypothalamus does much of this autonomic regulation to the pituitary. The brainstem does these mechanisms. So much of that sort of fight, flight, freeze, can't think, hyperalarm, amygdala is part of that dysregulation that we see in autonomic patients. And some of the work we do where you have to almost be very active and deliberate, and it seems very forced and artificial initially to show that you are not right, to handhold your brain and body back to show that it can be okay again. So the extended autonomic nervous system is adrenaline, fight or flight, parasympathetic, brain with the hypothalamic pituitary brainstem with the autonomic centers in the brainstem, the endocrine, which is the pancreatic, the insulin metabolism, the adrenaline glands. You can throw the hypothyroid system into there with some of the thyroid metabolism, which we can see some altered issues of weight metabolism, weight gain, weight loss initially in a very stressed state, which ties in maybe to some hypothalamic dysfunction. Um, um, we can see very, very rapid weight gain in a very stressed state in our patients as a survival mechanism of the body, and often correcting the autonomic dysfunction will help this regulate itself and stabilize and resolve. Digestion, as mentioned, skin, and immune. This is very important to discuss this in individualized care. We can really tailor it back and help people do better. But the most important thing is to at least identify, recognize it, describe it, and help people know this is happening. By doing this, people can be validated, understood, and not be in this free fall of state of not being disbelieved. Um, Thank you for listening to these videos. There are more videos always be coming. Subscribe to the Wilson Orthostatic Exercise channel. That way you'll be updated. And we do believe in you, and take care of yourself, and bless you.